video right now, but I'm just pretty disgusted with a good portion of the things that I've seen online here recently. And I kind of wanted to address it because typically I don't do politics on this channel, and this really isn't politics. You playing with the neighbor dog? Playing with the neighbor dog. I didn't set up my audio equipment or anything for this. We're just talking. Get up. Come on. House. I got a dummy who wants to dig in the yard. No. Chuck, get in the house. Go in the house. So, yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on here recently, and I am completely disgusted with some of the stuff I'm seeing. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Donald Trump, particularly, to tell you the truth. But what I find disgusting is that there's a portion of our country that is absolutely lost their effing minds. You know, oh, I wish, you know, why did he have to miss? And then celebrating the death of a decorated fireman who was protecting his family because he was at a Trump rally. I didn't think that this country would get this bad in my lifetime. I don't like a lot of politicians, but I've never once wished violence or bad things on them. Never once. I've never looked at someone that voted differently than me and said, hey, I hope someone takes them out. That's not something I've ever thought. As a matter of fact, the entire time I was in the military, I was fighting to defend your right to vote for whoever you wanted. That doesn't seem like that's the general consensus. And the reason that we're not doing a knife video, and the reason that you're not getting a knife video today, there's no video going up today, I don't know if I want to entertain people that think like that. And I literally was to the point where, like, if this is how far this country's gone, do I want to provide entertainment to a group of people that would wish the ending of someone else just because they put, guess what? If your political party or your political affiliation or your political candidate doesn't win this time, guess what? In 4 years, you get another shot. If you like Donald Trump, vote for Donald Trump. You like Joe Biden, vote for Joe Biden. I'm not making any statement either way. I'm just saying, for people that are saying, like, all this vitriol and the things like, well, if Donald Trump takes office, he'll never leave. Did you get enough oxygen in the wound? He literally was the president once before. All these things that people keep saying, he was literally the president once before. If you are one of those people that regrets the shooter's lack of aim, you can unsubscribe from my channel. I don't want to entertain those people. And if you're someone on the other side that is wishing bad things on Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or any of those people, you can unsubscribe from my channel too. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what this country's about. That's not what this is about. You have every opportunity. People are like, oh, these people aren't qualified. There's 3 requirements for being president. 35 years of age. Be a natural born citizen and have lived in the country for at least 14 years. That's it. That's the requirements. That is the requirements for being the president of the United States. If you're 35 years old, you're a natural born citizen, and you've lived here for 14 years or longer, you can run for president. You don't have to be smart enough to be allowed to have a sharp object to scrape your face with in the morning. Obviously, I'm not smart enough to own one. I don't want to provide entertainment to a group of people that is that hateful. And like I said, if subscribership goes down because I said this, get over yourself. There is no need for the things that I'm seeing on the news in this country. And I was so mad, I wanted to do, right? Like, I'm qualified to be president. I'm a natural born citizen. I lived here until I was 17 when I joined the military, and then I went overseas. I lived there for 13 years. I came back. I've been back since 2006. So I'm over 35, and I'm a natural born citizen. I can run for president. That's it. That's it. That's the only requirements. Media and pundits and people that have taken things and pushed things so hard and divided this country. Shame on you. If you have pushed this rhetoric that, let's just go ahead and say it. They say that Donald Trump is the bad guy from World War II. He's bad. In all honesty, the 4 years that he was president, what I saw from the 4 years that Donald Trump was president was he lowered taxes and he hurt a bunch of people's feelings. That's what I saw. I didn't see that he was a horrible president. I didn't think he was a great president. He definitely was better than other presidents I've seen. He was worse than some of the presidents I've seen. I grew up under Reagan. I honestly and still think Reagan is one of the best presidents ever. Is Donald Trump really good? Yeah. But he's not for everybody. And that's the whole beauty of getting to vote. That's the whole beauty of this system. If this continues and there's political violence, we're no better than those shithole third world countries that we tried to prevent this from happening to. It's gone too far. But the flip side is, for one side to go, oh, we need to tone it down, but having been the side that like literally, that's what you hear from the Democrats constantly, pushing violence and these things. I can't disagree with what I heard other journalists saying. Like, the left has pushed this narrative so hard, and then they want to pretend that they're surprised. I'm not at all surprised it happened. I'm actually surprised it didn't happen sooner. And then there's people going out there. There were people that were making statements about the firefighter that was killed, and his wife and kids were there. He was protecting his family, took a bullet, and he died. And there were people literally saying, well, at least that's one less Trump voter we got to worry about. And I'm like, you know what? You should be put on a boat and shipped out to a fucking island and left there. I'm not saying we do anything violent to you. I'm just saying that we just push you out there and forget. I'm not going to get into politics. It doesn't matter whether I've looked at any of it or not. This isn't what it's about. It's about the depths that the country has came to. I'm not talking about any political policy. I said I don't like Trump that much. I don't like Biden. I like Biden a little bit less than I like others, but I'm going to tell you right now, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the point where this country has gotten to where people are accepting violence, political violence. People are glorifying it, and people are upset that it didn't work, and people are berating a fireman just because he went to a political rally. That is his absolute God-given right in this country. If you want to be so over the top, for better use of a word, fascist, that you can't allow people to exercise their God-given rights, then you need to find a different country. Everybody wants to come to this country, but it seems to me that there's a lot of people that want to come to this country, and then they get here and they want to turn it into the same shithole that they came from. Or want to turn it into a shithole that has proven to be failure. A communist country. They want to turn it to a communist country. I've been to communist countries. I'm going to tell you right now, they're shitholes. I went to Russia. I went to Russia shortly after the whole thing with the breakdown and the fall of the USSR. I went to Russia. I went to Vladivostok, Russia, and I went to another city called Petra. My ship pulled into 2 different ports in Russia. And I saw it. I'm like, this is a shithole. Been to Cuba, and what you see from outside what you can see outside of the fence line, it's a shithole. I'm like, I don't see why you would want to bring that. Anybody that lived under Castro in Cuba, I don't see how that's even an option. And I don't see how this country, I wake up in the morning and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm so mad that there wasn't a video that went up. I didn't do a live feed on my days off. I was just so mad. And not because somebody took a shot at Trump. I kind of saw that coming. I kind of saw it coming. Like, they've tried everything else, and you reach a point where that's the only option that his opponents, not his opponents, but his detractors and the general public who view him as the next Hitler, which I don't get it. He was president once already. I'm like, I don't get it. But I wake up and I'm like, I don't recognize the country I fought for. I spent my entire adult life in the military, fighting for the ideal of this country. And I see that it's falling apart. And I see people at each other's throats. I just don't get it. Trump can run this one time. If he gets elected and he gets 4 years, he can't ever run again. You have 4 years. You have 4 years. Suck it up. Everybody that didn't want Biden to win sucked it up. Everybody that didn't want Trump to win had to suck it up the first time. There has never been one president that has completely destroyed a country. Jimmy Carter tried real hard. He did try real hard. He tried his damnedest. And I remember Carter. I remember growing up under Carter as well. I just can't see how this has fallen down this far. And as a parent, I'm at that point where I'm old enough now that I can look at it and go, I'm not mad. I'm just fucking disappointed. You ever tell your kids that? Or if you're young enough, do you remember your parents saying that? You remember how bad that sucked? America, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I didn't think that it would get this bad in my lifetime. My father always told me, he's like, oh, son, this country's gonna fall apart in my lifetime. He's wrong. He's been dead for about 6 years. If he hadn't had cancer, I think he would, that was a very prosthetic, is that how you say it? Not prosthetic. Prosthetic's that fake leg you get when they blow one off. It was a very apt thing for him to say. Because I do believe if he hadn't gotten cancer, he'd right now be sitting around looking at me going, told you. Then again, he was pretty smart. When I joined the military, I told him I laughed. He told me if I didn't go to college, I'd have a job with my name on my shirt. I showed up in my uniform. I was all proud. Got a name tag. It says Emler. I'm in my blues. I was like, remember when you told me that if I didn't go to college, I'd have a job with my name on my shirt? He goes, I'm proud of you, boy, but what's that? And I was like, shit. So I'm getting ready to go to bed. Just got off work. I just had to let this out. I had to let it out. There's videos that I've got that are scheduled. They're already filmed. I took the video down that was scheduled for today. I just didn't feel, I don't feel that like right now is the right time for me to put up a video. There's so many other things that everybody should be watching. There's things that everyone should be watching and following closely. And like, just take a look at it. Like, I'm not saying convert to Trump or convert to Biden, to those camps. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, take a closer look at what's actually happening, who's actually doing what things are working, what things worked before, and make your decision on who you want to vote for that way. Because I got news for you. The press, they're in it to make money. They're not telling you, it's not like back when Walter Cronkite was an honest newsman. When the news had to start fighting for ratings. When I was a kid, the news didn't have to fight for ratings. It was just the news. Every network had their own news. You had to, you were, as a kid, you were forced to watch. Growing up, it was Channel 7 out of Wheeling that my dad watched. And if we were with my grandfather, it was Channel 9 out of, I think Channel 9 was out of Wheeling as well. But it didn't matter. One was CBS, one was NBC. They didn't have to fight for ratings. And you had an hour. You had 30 minutes of the local news, and you had 30 minutes of the national news at 6, or maybe it was an hour. But I know the local news was like a half an hour. And you watched that. That's just what you did. You just watched news with your old men. And then after the national news was a Walter Cronkite investigates thing that always would come on. And those were like some of my favorite times. But I can't watch the news now. I can't. I can't process like fair and balanced. You can't watch news and get anything out of it these days except hate. If you're watching Fox, they're going to hate on Biden. If you're watching anything else, they're going to hate on Trump. And I just think it's gone too far. You just knock it the fuck off. Tell me the actual news. Don't tell me what you think Trump's going to do. Don't tell me what you think Biden's going to do. Don't lie to me about either one. Just fucking tell me what's really going on in the world. That's what the news is. Just so fed up. All the hate, discontent, vitriol between the two sides. I'm done with it. Am I going to vote? Yeah. Do you need to know who I'm going to vote for? No. You know why? Because that's my right as an American, to vote for whoever I want. And that's your right as well. I guarantee I've got Biden supporters that I work with. I've got Biden supporters that I watch. I've got Trump supporters that I work with. And Trump supporters that watch me and I watch on these channels. Guess what? I've never once asked anybody what their political affiliation is. I've never asked them how they're going to vote, because you know what? It's none of my goddamn fucking business. If everybody would just stay out of everybody else's business, just leave each other the fuck alone. God, can you imagine how much better a world this would be? Guys, I just had to get this out. I was gonna film it, I sat up to film it, I got ready to do a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna let you guys know there's stuff coming. I have videos filmed. You'll get a video on Friday, you'll get a video on Sunday, but I wanted to do this first. I did do a couple shorts last night, and I had even stopped doing, I didn't do shorts or anything. I wanted some time to think about, how I wanted to say this, and I thought, you know what? The same way I do everything else on this channel, and the same way I've done it from day one, just do it. Don't script it, don't think about it, don't try and write it down, don't make it a scripted video, just do this. And it's always worked well for me. It's always been my most and best honest way to talk to you guys that are my subscribers. And like I said, I don't care what side you're voting for. If you're that hateful, I don't want you to watch my channel. I might lose subscribers for it. Like if you hate Trump so much that you're wishing that the sniper had been a better shot, unsubscribe from my channel. And if you're watching my channel and you're like, you're wishing bad things on Biden, I want you off my channel as well. And I know there's a lot of people that are probably pissed because their comments aren't showing up, but guess what? I already have filters set up for things that I don't want on this channel. And typically I don't talk about politics at all. But this isn't about politics. This is a systematic issue in this country. They've said things on Fox that Biden said this, and then you go and you research it, and Biden didn't actually say that. The other side of the fence has done the same thing. Well, Trump said there were good people on both sides, and if you watch it, he didn't say that. They have bastardized and clipped and shortened and abbreviated all the things that everyone says, and been so underhanded about how they portray both sides that at this point, I don't know who you can trust. I don't know. I watch a lot of independent news, and I watch multiple because that way I get both sides of the fence. I think that's about the best way to do it. I use ground news to see what stories are being shown in what media on which sides of the fence. At this point, I have zero trust. I'm not gonna lie, I used to love, some of my favorite memories were watching the news with my dad, because it was one of the only times that I got to spend with my dad, where he wasn't like talking with my mother or reading the newspaper or doing something. I would sit in his lap and I'd watch the news. That's a really good memory of mine. But now, I don't even have cable. I watch YouTube. I have YouTube, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. So, I don't know. Just saying. I think maybe the fact I've gotten older makes me want to say this out loud and sound like my father, but y'all need to grow the fuck up. I'm not talking to you guys in general. So, I do have, okay, so back to the channel stuff. We're going to talk about, I have a new camera coming. I went ahead and I bought, ooh, that's a nice choice there, Chicago 23. Is it Chicago? So did you buy it out of the trunk of someone's car? It's the only way you're getting that in Chicago. There ain't no way that you bought that legally in Chicago. So just so you guys know, I have a handful of videos that are already up and ready to go because there's limitations with filming the way I've been doing it. I've been having problems with, I use my phone for filming, even though it's a great camera. I bought an actual camera that's going to be able to fit multiple rolls, and I got some other stuff with it. It's an action cam, but I've also got diopter adjustments on it so I can get in close and I can look at stuff. But I'm going to film in 4K from now on. So we've been doing it in 1080p and then taking it down. So I got the camera coming. It'll be here today. I'm gonna take some time to mess around with it. I'm gonna film some stuff. We'll do some effects and stuff like that. So we'll see that coming, and hopefully it works out the way I'm hoping, because the camera on this phone is just, I wind up, there's something wrong with the iPhone itself or the camera, and I keep dropping frames. And then I had 3 videos that I filmed a week or so ago, and I had to scrap them all because they had corrupt frames in it, and so it just wouldn't even recognize the entire video. So I just had to get this out of my system before I did anything else. I had to get this out of my system, mainly because, like I said, I joined the military when I was 17. I didn't know anything else. I just knew that I loved this country. And I see people that are going out and they say that the American flag is racist and everything I stood for, and they're bowing and kneeling at the national anthem, and it hurts me. It hurts me in a way that I can't explain. When you've done, like, when that was everything you were for that many years, it's the only thing I knew. It's the only thing it was the only thing I was ever good at. To have that diminished and what you respected above all to be cast down and spit on and have people harassed for flying an American flag, a symbol around the world that, like, when you saw the American flag, it didn't matter where you were in the world. Other countries respected it. People from other countries respected it. It was like a beacon for everything good. And then I started losing friends in combat. And then it took on a whole new meaning. Those flags that they came draped in. That's what that signified. That flag that people are spitting on and stepping on and calling racist is what my friends came back draped under. And it's the symbol that our country gave to the widows and mothers of my friends who passed. And to have that be diminished and spit on and pissed on and shit on makes me madder than anything I've ever experienced in my life. And on top of that, it hurts. And I think you'll find that with a lot of veterans. And I didn't want to talk about this because it does make me so mad that I just, like, I'll be so mad. I'm not, like, my eyes are tearing up. It's not the emotion. It's not me crying for that. I'm so mad that my eyes are starting to water. I just can't fathom. If you don't like this country, go find your communist utopia. Go find it. Go find it and see how you live. If you love Palestine so much, Queers for Palestine, go visit and see how you're treated. For that matter, go to any Middle Eastern country. Go to Israel. I've been to Israel. I got news for you. They're not as progressive when it comes to the Queers for Palestine or queers or any of that stuff. Not as progressive as we are here in the States. And so if you think that these countries are better, fucking go. Pack your shit. I'll help you. If you don't love this country enough to join the military and sign a check to the government up to and including your life, that blank check, if you don't love the country enough to do that, pack a bag and fucking go. That's all I gotta say. But I had to get this out of my system or I was not gonna get anything else done, channel-wise. So, it just had to be said. I had to. It's just, I can't continue. I couldn't continue to ignore it. And I tried to film and I just got so mad about other things. I shaved my face every day for the entire time I was in the military. And the day I retired, I said I'm not shaving again. I have been beardless twice since 2009. So I've had a goatee. No, I'm not saying you have to serve, but you got to be willing to. MC, I'm not saying like you have to. I'm just saying if you're not willing to, if you were not willing to, there's a lot of people that don't, but I guarantee they'd be willing to. I'm not saying you have to join. I'm not saying you have to serve, but I'm saying you have to be willing to. There's a lot of people that do it other ways. Police officers, firemen, nurses, doctors. I don't put any distinction really between that and serving in the military. So, Spitfire has been a baseline member for 43 months. You see that shit? I'm just saying, if you don't love your country enough to be willing to do it, if required, if asked. I wasn't asked. I did it voluntarily. I did it because my grandfather did it. My uncle did it. My father would have done it if he hadn't blown his knee out playing football in high school. Cousins. Cousins that joined. And it wasn't a status thing. It's something that I thought the life that I had been given in this country, I owed back. And I really wasn't joining to stay in for as long as I did. I got medically retired. I didn't do my full 20. I did just shy of 18 before I got medically retired. And then once I got all my stuff done, it was just about 18 and a half or something like that. Almost 19 years. I had no intention. I was going to do 4 and then get out. And I liked it. I did. I loved it. I got to go all kinds of places in the world. There has to be enough pride and patriotism in this country left to turn this around. But if you're somebody that, as my daughter said one time, I forget where we were going, and she's like, I don't think we should go. And I was like, why? And she said they apparently have been having protests where people are throwing the flag art around and stomping. And I was stomping on it and like burning it and things like that. And I was like, oh. And she goes, I don't think we should go. And I asked her why she didn't think we should go. This was right before the impeachment. And she said, because I don't want to have to call mama to pick me up when you get arrested. That's what would have happened. a good chunk of this country needs to just shut their mouth and think real hard about what the fuck they're about to say, and then run it back through those filters again. What was this? The Roving Ronin, same here. I love this country, and it drove my, oh hey, Roving Ronin, I didn't even see this one. I did 18 years in the Marine Corps because I wanted to prove something to myself. As an only child, it was patriotism that led me that road. I didn't have the greatest of childhoods. We grew up poor, but I knew that I had more than a lot of people, and I saw the news, and I knew that I had much more than people in other countries. And I thought for myself that it was something that I should give back to my country for giving me as good a life as I had, regardless of how poor we were. I could watch the news with my father growing up, and I saw what was happening in other countries like Rwanda and Ethiopia and other countries around the world. And I knew even then, as a child, sitting on my father's lap in this big brown recliner that he kept for years, that my life was so much better, as bad as it was, as poor as we were. We had a roof over our head, we had food to eat. We didn't have a lot, but we had more than a lot of people did. We had more than most where I lived. Granted, I live in Appalachia, in the hillbilly hills of fucking Appalachia, in the foothills of the Allegheny Mountains. But I knew even then that there were people that were suffering a lot more than we were. I see these people going out and protesting about what they think they've been downtrodden with. And if they had grown up watching the news that I watched as a kid, they would know how goddamn good their life is. So, but now that that's out of the way, I took my gabapentin. I'm gonna roll up a fat one, hit that jazz cabbage. Actually, I might load it in the glass saxophone, hit a little bit of that jazz cabbage. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna wake up, and I've got this out of my system. So expect to see a video on Friday, a video on Sunday. That's the only thing we can do. There, Stevie, it's the only thing we can do. The only thing we can do is hope that our children, my daughter's 16, she starts college when she comes back. And if you guys haven't watched her, if you guys have not watched her speech, that I put up a video here of her graduation. Her speech was amazing. She wouldn't even let us listen to it. She wouldn't let us read it. She wanted it to be a surprise. I videotaped it. I put it up. My daughter's graduation. My baby girl graduated at 16. She starts college at 16. I've never been that proud. The only thing that I can hope is that I raised her with the morals and discipline that I want to see in the next generation. Unfortunately, there's a lot of families that haven't. There's a lot of kids just running rampant out there. She has the only way, and it doesn't matter, Democrat, liberal, independent, Republican, it doesn't matter. The only way that we can ensure that what we believe in keeps going is you teach it to your kids. Give your kids the values you feel are great. My dad did it to me. He beat it into me. The military instilled it even more. And now, I've instilled it in my daughter. I hear my daughter say things that I wouldn't expect a 16-year-old to say. I would expect her to have some very different opinions than I do. But I hear her saying the same things that I'm thinking, and I don't try to push her either way. I'm like, I let her make her own decisions. I just hope that, because I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, at this point, I don't believe in all this woke bullshit, the DEI, any of this, the whole thing with the Secret Service. I don't agree with a lot of the things. I'm not saying that I don't think that women can't serve. I'm not saying that I don't think that, I'm not saying anything like I don't feel that that is the right direction to go. Because I watched what happened with President Trump, and I thought immediately to myself, there are Many, many Navy SEALs, Green Berets, people that came up through DC SWAT, a lot of other agencies that got passed over. To quote Harry Callahan, what's a hell of a price to pay for being stylish. So with that being said, I'm going to bed. I love you guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed all the stuff I've done so far. This is an out of character video for me. Just an out of character live feed. But like I said, I had to get it out of my system. So I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to vote, regardless of who you're going to vote for. That is one of the most sacred actions that an American has, is voting. This is the only country where, without fail, you get to pick who's in charge of shit. So, other than intended purposes, before you go, what? What do you want other than intended purposes? Well, that's the way it should be. That's what's in the Constitution. If you want to have a vote in this country, you got to be a citizen. I can't go to Australia. Like, I don't understand the disconnect here. And this is the last thing, because this is the one that irritates me too. I don't understand the disconnect here. If I was traveling in Europe on vacation, and they happen to be having a vote in England, can I vote? No. So what makes it okay for someone to be in this country, traveling through, whether a migrant or on, I mean, you may as well just say that, oh, well, if you're in Australia, if you're from Australia and you're visiting here, come vote. Why not? Fuck it. It'll be, just have fun. No. Like, that was the dumbest thing I've heard. I was like, why do we have to vote on that? Must be a citizen to vote. Must ID to vote. And I don't understand the ID thing either. Like, well, ID is racist. I was like, really? Because I have to have an ID to rent a car. I have to have an ID to buy cigarettes. I have to have an ID to buy beer. I have to have an ID to get a hotel room. I have to have an ID to get on an airplane. Are those racist? I don't get it. So now you got me all wound up again. That's the dumbest thing that I never thought I would have, like, wait, we have to vote on this? I don't understand why this shockingly is one that should be pretty transparent. Unless I can go to Australia and vote, because I think that would be funny. So, guys, be good to each other. Vote. No matter who you're going to vote for, just go vote. Yeah. Vote for whoever you want to vote for. I'm not like trying to sway your vote either way. I have my own political leanings. I don't bring them up here too often. To tell you the truth, like I said, I'm not a big fan of either one of them. I do know that 4 years ago, my life was a little bit better. I'd take some mean tweets if the price of gas was half what it is now. Like, I would, oh, you like that? This was a gift. One of you guys sent me this. My favorite, I mentioned in a video that The Princess Bride was my favorite movie. And one of you guys sent this to me. Someone that had my address, I didn't get a note, showed up, and it was from one of you guys. I sure didn't buy it. But I will tell you, one of my favorite memories being a parent, we were coming back from Knott's Berry Farm amusement park. This is just last summer. Actually, it was last November. It was, my daughter and I went. It was free for me and $20 for her. It was $20, like less than $40 for us to get in the park together. And on the way home, because it's about a 2-hour drive, it's up near Disneyland, it's about a 2-hour drive, I had worn this shirt to the park. And so many people were like, I love that shirt. I love that shirt. That shirt's amazing. Throughout the day, she's like, I didn't realize how many people like that movie. I was like, Isabel, it's like my favorite movie ever. Like, it is a movie, it doesn't matter if there's only 5 minutes left. If I'm channel surfing and it's on, I will watch the last 5 minutes. It doesn't matter what we were going to watch before. I could have a group of guys at my house getting ready to watch a UFC fight. And as I'm changing channels, like, oh, I gotta watch this, bro. You may as well just grab a smoke. There's like 5 minutes. And they're like, what the fuck? She had never seen it. She never had any interest in it. I was like, you should watch it. And I was like, as a matter of fact, grab my laptop. It's in the back. My laptop bag was in the back of the car, and I don't remember why it was back there. And we did a hotspot to my phone, and I let her watch Princess Bride on my laptop in the car, and she absolutely loved it. And it was one of those moments that you, as a parent, you will remember forever. She looked at me, and she was like, okay, that's a really good movie. And I was like, there you go. So now that was a bonding moment. This shirt that one of you guys sent me led to one of the best memories I have as a parent. Guys, I got to get off here. I do have to go to bed. It's past my bedtime. I have to be back at work tonight at 11 p.m. So I love you guys. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.